Okay, so I'm going to tell you how my day went. Went to vote before I had a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock. I usually take a certain route to go to the doctor's office, but due to me voting, I had to take a different route. I'm waiting at it takes me 3 buses to get to the doctor's office. So I was running early, and I was waiting for the last bus to get to the doctor, which is, there's the bus stop right here, and then there's a CVS right behind me. All of a sudden, I just hear a woman scream, "Oh!" So I had my headphones on, not paying attention, waiting for my bus, and then I look back and I see this man fall. He was already on the floor, and he had a cane, and he was an older man. I would say he was about between 85 years old. So I run over to him like, oh my god, like I wanted to like shock for that moment, and all of a sudden 3 men came out of nowhere and lifted him up. And if you saw on his hand, like, I wish I could show you guys, like as big as this on his hand, he cut his hand wide open and blood was gushing out. And when I mean gushing out, it's as if you had your arm straight out and you poured water from your shoulder all the way down and it just flowed out. That's how the blood was coming out. I had napkins in my bag, which I always carry napkins. I put it over his hand and it soaked through the whole tissue in a matter of 10-15 seconds. So since, it was just shocking. And, he told me, I said, do you know what happened? He told me, oh, I was walking and I got dizzy, and he hit his head on the brick wall of the CVS. So I fly into the CVS, and I told the woman, says, listen, a man just fell, and I need paper towels because he's like leaking all over the place. So she gave me a roll of paper towels, and I flew out, and I just told him to put the paper towels over his hand and just hold it down so the blood stops gushing out. So then, he told me, he's an older man. He told me, he goes, oh, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I says, listen, I don't know you from a hole in the wall, but I'm not going to leave you. He's an older man, that could be somebody's grandpa. That could be somebody's dad. That could be somebody's, uncle or nephew or cousin or anything like that. I was always taught growing up, do unto others as you want done to yourself. And I would want somebody to care for me when I'm that age if I would have fell on the floor and I started bleeding all over the place. So I said to myself, fuck my appointment. I had, a 1 o'clock appointment. I says, you know what, this is more important than myself. So, I started walking with him. I says, there's a bus stop not too far. And, I should have called the ambulance, but I know ambulance and police would take such a long time. And I know if I can do something to help somebody to get them better or to help them, I will do it. That was just how I was raised. So the game plan is that I was going to walk onto, it was actually Kings Highway in Brooklyn. And if anybody knows Kings Highway, somewhere along Kings Highway is a hospital called Beth Israel Hospital. And I was like, let me try to walk him onto Kings Highway itself, because we're bound to bump into an ambulance somewhere along that route. So if I could just flag a ambulance, that would be fantastic. So I'm walking across the street, and we have the light, and long and behold, dead in front, the first car waiting at the light to turn green was an ambulance. I'm like, thank you, God, you're with me right now. That was the only thing I was able to say and think. So, I ran up to the ambulance, and I told him, says, listen, a man, he got dizzy, and then he hit his head. I don't know if he's bleeding from the inside, but I know he has a big gash on his hand that's just leaking out blood. So they was like, okay, just come around the corner, we'll check him out. And they put him in the ambulance. And I was like, well, is there anything else that you need from me? And they was like, no, ma'am, it's okay. You could go upon your day. We got it from here. And I just walked to the bus stop thinking, I helped somebody. And I was selfless at that one moment. Maybe it was somebody testing me. Maybe it was God upstairs testing my faith, or whether or not I'm meant to help people. I don't know. It was, for me to take that bus route, I usually don't take that bus route to go to the doctor, which means something. That's what I believe. And also to be running early for appointment. I mean, I am early for my appointments, but to be running that early and for me to be running that early for my appointment was too early than what I usually get there. So I feel like it was meant for me to help him, if that makes sense. It was my way of being like his guardian angel on earth. Like, there's guardian angels up in heaven that protect us, but on earth itself, I was his guardian angel for that slight moment. And, you know, I didn't even know I was doing it. I was just helping another person, another older person. And the funny part is that I had a 1 o'clock appointment with the doctor, and I was running so early for the doctor wasn't even in. The doctor was on vacation, and they didn't call me to let me know that the doctor was on vacation. So everything happens for a reason. Whether you lose your job, you know, you had a miscarriage, you know, I'm just thinking extreme, like, you know, hit and run, and you're paralyzed from the waist down. Everything happens for a reason, and as extreme as it may be, there's always something better that comes out of it. You know, I don't know if I said this before, I didn't help that man just to get merit to get into heaven. Because some people say, oh, let me do a good deed so it could come back to me. My first reaction is I saw him on the floor and I just ran to him. I didn't care if he was white, he was black. He was actually a white man. A white older man. I didn't care if he was white, he was black, Asian, you know, Spanish, Middle Eastern. I didn't give a crap. He was a human being that needed help at that moment. And if that makes somebody's day just a little bit better, or it makes the world a little bit better for that split second, I think everybody should do it. Whether it's holding the door for somebody, saying, excuse me, it's the best thing you can do, and it makes the world so much better and such an easier way of living if you just live freely like that. So with that and me rambling, I just want to say that I'm gonna need for my blankets, that I lit a candle for him. I don't know if you guys can see it. So this is to you, David. I made a prayer for you, and I hope everything's fine. And I know that one day we'll meet again. I don't know when or where, but one day we'll come across paths. So that's how I'm gonna end it. Thank you for anybody who sees this, and I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye.